Hi, Bryn. I'm back with chapter 14 for us. If you remember in chapter 13, Pod was out borrowing and talking to the missus of the house, and Ariete went and talked to the boy, and then Pod saw her. And we had a picture of the boy passing her the note. Chapter 14. Pod did not speak until they had reached the sitting room, nor did he look at her. She had had to scramble after him as best as she might. He had ignored her efforts to help him shut the gates, but once, when she tripped, he had waited until she got up again, watching her, it seemed, almost without interest, while she brushed the dust off of her knees. Supper was laid and the ironing put away, and Homily came running in from the kitchen surprised to see them together. Pod threw down his borrowing bag. He stared at his wife. "What's the matter?" Homily faltered, looking from one to the other. "She was in the night nursery," said Pod quietly, "talking to that boy." Homily moved forward, her hands clasped tremblingly against her apron, her startled eyes flicking swiftly to and fro. "Oh no," she breathed. Pod sat down. He ran a tired hand over his eyes and forehead. His face looked heavy, like a piece of dough. "Now what?" he said. Homily stood quite still, bowed over her clasped hands, and stared at Ariete. "Oh, you never," she whispered. "They are frightened," Ariete realized. "They are not angry at all. They are very, very frightened." She moved forward. "It's all right," she began. Homily sat down suddenly on the cotton spool. She had begun to tremble. "Oh," she said, "whatever shall we do?" She began rocking herself very slightly to and fro. "Oh, Mother, don't," pleaded Ariete. It isn't so bad as that. It really isn't." She felt up the front of her jersey. At first she could not find the letter. It had slid around her side to the back, but at last she drew it out, very crumpled. "Look," she said. "Here's a letter from Uncle Henry. I wrote to him, and the boy took the letter." "You wrote to him?" cried Homily, on a kind of surprised shriek. "Oh," she moaned and closed her eyes. "Whatever next? Whatever shall we do?" And she fanned herself limply with her bony hand. "Get your mother a drink of water, Ariete," said Pod sharply. Ariete brought in the sawed-off hazel shell. It had been sawed off at the pointed end and was shaped like a brandy glass. "But whatever made you do such a thing?" said Homily more calmly, setting the empty cup down on the table. "Whatever came over you?" So, Ariete told them about being seen that day under the cherry tree, and how she had kept it from them not to worry them, and what the boy said about dying out, and how, more than important, how imperative it had seemed to make sure the Hendrys were alive. "Do understand," pleaded Ariete. "Please understand. I'm trying to save the race." "The expression she uses," said Homily to Pod under her breath, not without pride. But Pod was not listening. "Save the race," he repeated grimly. "It's people like you, my girl, who do things sudden, like with no respect for tradition, who'll finish us, borrowers once and for all. Don't you see what you've done?" Ariete met his accusing eyes. "Yes," she said falteringly. I've got in touch with the only other one still alive. So that," she went on bravely, "from now on we can all stick together." "All stick together?" Pod repeated angrily. "Do you think Henry's lot would ever come back to live here? Can you see your mother emigrating to a badger set 2 fields away, out in the open, with no hot water laid on? Never, cried Homily in a full, rich voice, which made them both turn and look at her. Or do you see your mother walking across 2 fields and a garden, went on Pod. 2 fields full of cows and crows and horses and what not, to make a cup of tea with your Aunt Loopy, whom she never liked much anyways. But wait, he said as Arrietty tried to speak. That's not the point. As far as all that goes, we're just where we was. We're just where we was. The point, he went on, leaning forward and speaking with great solemnity. Solemnity? He's solemn. The point is this. That boy now knows where we live. Oh no, said Arrietty. I never told him that. You told him, interrupted Pod, about the kitchen pipe bursting. You told him how all our stuff got washed away into the grating. He sat back glaring at her. He's only got to think, he pointed out. Arrietty was silent, and Pod went on. That's a thing that has never happened before. Never. In the whole long history of the borrowers. Borrowers have been seen, yes. Borrowers have been caught, maybe. But no human being has ever known where any borrowers have lived. We're in very grave danger, Arrietty, and you have put us there, and that is a fact. Oh, Pod, whispered Homily, don't frighten the child. Nay, Homily, said Pod more gently, my poor old girl, I don't want to frighten no one, but this is serious. Suppose I said to you to pack up tonight all our bits and pieces. Where would you go? Not to the Hendrys, cried Homily, not there, Pod. I could never share a kitchen with Loopy. No, agreed Pod, not to the Hendrys. And don't you see why? The boy knows about that too. Oh, cried Homily in real dismay. Thank you, telephone. Yes, said Pod. A couple of smart terriers or a well-trained ferret, and that'd be the end of it all. Oh, Pod, said Homily, and began to tremble. The thought of living in a badger's set had been bad enough, but the thought of having not even that to go to seemed worse. And I dare say I could have got it nice in the end, she said, providing we lived quite separate. Well, it's no good thinking of it now, said Pod. He turned to Arrietty. What does your Uncle Henry say in his letter? Yes, exclaimed Homily. Where's this letter? It doesn't say much, said Arrietty, passing over the paper. It just says, tell your Aunt Loopy to come home. What? Exclaimed Homily sharply, looking at the letter upside down. Come home? What can he mean? It means, said Pod, that Loopy must have set off to come here, and that she never arrived. Set off to come here, repeated Homily, but when? How should I know, said Pod. It doesn't say when, said Arrietty. But, exclaimed Homily, it might have been weeks ago. It might, said Pod. Long enough away for him to want her back. Oh, cried Homily, all those poor little children. They're growing up now, said Pod. But something must have happened to her, exclaimed Homily. Yes, said Pod. He turned to Arrietty. See what I mean, Arrietty, about those fields? Oh, Pod, said Homily, her eyes full of tears. I don't suppose none of us'll ever see poor Loopy again. Well, we wouldn't have anyway, said Pod. Pod, said Homily, soberly, I'm frightened. Everything seems to be happening at once. What are we going to do? Well, said Pod, there's nothing we can do tonight, that is certain, but have a bit of supper and a good night's rest. He rose to his feet. "Oh, Arrietty," wailed Homily suddenly, "you naughty, wicked girl! How could you go and start all of this? How could you go and talk to a human being? If only—" "I was seen," cried Arrietty. "I couldn't help being seen. Papa was seen. I don't think it's all as awful as you're trying to make out. I don't think human beings are all that bad." "They are bad and they are good," said Pod. "They're honest and they're artful. It's just as it takes them at the moment. And animals, if they could talk, would say the same. Stay clear of them. That's what I've always been told. No matter what they promise you. No good really come to no one from any human being." And that is the end of chapter 14. I hope to finish this book up soon because I want to put it down as part of the summer reading club. There's a if you do a task, then you get a stamp. One of the stamps is reread a book from childhood, and I read this as a child, so as us rereading it, I'm gonna earn my stamp that way, which is pretty cool. It is exceedingly hot outside. Yesterday, Alex and I went to play some soccer, and the humidex was 29 at around 7 p.m. And so we played for maybe 30, 40 minutes, and I was just sweating, like dripping, because it was so warm and humid. So today looks to be the same. There's a slight breeze, so maybe. I'll talk to you later. So have a great day. Bye for now.